My name is Olin Kealoha Lagan, and I'm the CTO and co-founder of Shifted Energy. You know, this was probably the most interesting accelerator we were looking at, particularly because we were porting our entire application into AWS Cloud. And it wasn't as trivial as we thought it would be, and so we knew that we need some help. We need some really advanced help because of the things we do advanced machine learning, advanced Internet of Things, and so this accelerator was for us, one, a technical accelerator to see what kind of resources we could get to accelerate our version 2 of our AWS platform. And then 2, it's always great to connect with other energy-minded companies and just start to explore different opportunities, pivot if we need to, and things like that. So the biggest learnings that I got were, one, as we were going through this program, we're re-architecting our AWS system. And so in going through this, sort of looking at the different technologies and tools, we got some credits from AWS. We're able to explore some of that. And so there's been a huge learning curve for us as we accelerate to our 2.0 stack. We hired a couple more engineers to help us with this transition. And then 2, as we grow out of a pandemic, this opportunity to look at how other companies are looking at the industry, we got a lot of insight into the European market, for example, markets that we're not in. And so it has helped us come up with our strategy of how we're gonna execute our business plan over the next 2 years. Biggest challenges, one is we are still in a pandemic in some ways, and so being a residential first demand response companies, we were locked out of installing our technology. A lot of the property managers would not let us install or service because of fears for COVID. And so that was one challenge that made us think differently, like how do we overcome that? And how do we pivot in such a way so that we can get into different communities or find other ways? So that was one big challenge. I think the second big challenge, which I think we're also learning from this accelerator, is how to shrink the pilot process time. So most pilots with utilities can easily go for 1 or 2 years. And so we think we can collect the data faster. And so like one specific example there was, one idea I got from the accelerator was to sort of publish our pilots or get multiple utilities to come in on one pilot so we can share the results and hopefully shortcut some of those things. So we've actually implemented some of those techniques. Funniest moment was my alarm went off at 1:45 in the morning because in Hawaii, 2 o'clock in the morning was our start time. And I woke up in a daze not remembering, like, why did I set my alarm? So I remember from a few moments thinking like, well, this is really odd. And then of course, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I've got this AWS. So that was, I think, the first or second day I had this sort of like, so I thought that was kind of funny reflecting back on that. I think my other favorite moment was actually some of the time in between of the sessions. So I've had some email communications, some Slack communications, and so developing those relationships outside of the cohort, I mean within the cohort, but outside of the standard sessions we were doing were my favorite moments. So we've made some connections, we've had some real conversations, we're making possibly some new business opportunities and things. So that, I think for me is it's happening. Like the magic outside and after this has already started to happen for us. The transition from 5 weeks online to in-person for me is, you know, not a big deal. I've started many companies, and so this is how it's done, right? Eventually you meet in person. What's odd is my last trip before the pandemic shut everything down was to Lisbon. And so I'm now like starting to travel again back to Lisbon. So that makes it a little special, you know, that connection. My father is from Europe. My mother's native Hawaiian. My father's from Europe. So another benefit of coming here is like he was born in Sardinia, so not this country, but not far from here. And so this culture is like part of me that I don't know anything about. And so it is mysterious, also homecoming-like, and so that part is really great. But having the opportunity to now meet my colleagues in person I'm looking forward to that. I just got here, so we haven't had those conversations yet, so maybe if you interview me in a couple of days, I will also say that those conversations have been magical as well. My advice to companies that want to apply for this accelerator would be, like us, to just go for it. Like, we knew our odds were small, but we knew that we needed this accelerator for 2 reasons. One, I mentioned the technical aspect of that too. And then 2 is, we firmly believe in our mission. Our mission includes getting folks that are completely underserved into energy programs. And if we don't turn over every rock looking for opportunity, that doesn't serve our mission as well as we could. So for those companies that want to join, think about your mission. Like, you can't fail on that. You got to go for it, and you got to put everything into it. And so when we gave our pitch during the process of applying, like, we brought our A game, our passion, and that's the only way to do it. Like, so this was an important thing for us, and I think it showed. And you guys selected us.